sports fans, ASMR Sports back in your non-sports business. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a Dollar Tree snack review, which I guess is kind of a Dollar Tree snack haul video as well, because I'm gonna show you each of these before we dig in. Well, folks, as you know, if you watch this channel with any kind of regularity, I do get to the local Dollar Tree a fair bit due to the fact that my daughter is a shopaholic, and Dollar Tree is the best place to go if you don't want to spend $3,000 at Sephora or other places that young girls seem to really want to go. So I go there a fair bit. There's one right by my house, and sometimes I think, is there anything good here? Or do I just wander the aisles aimlessly while my daughter buys a bunch of useless crap from the makeup aisle? Well, today we will answer that question, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm a bit limited in the snacks that I can partake in from the Dollar Tree because I do fancy myself a vegan, and therefore try to, as best I can, abstain from things like, dairy products and egg stuff. So a lot of the sweet stuff that I don't know would have like eggs in it because it's like a cake or whatever. Oh, there's a fair number of like vegan cookies and things there. Anyway, so long story short is, I don't see a ton of stuff there that I would eat, but I did find enough to, make an interesting video, and so hopefully some of these are of interest to you if you frequent your local Dollar Tree. But the first thing I have up is these kind of strangely named product called Tostones. Kind of sounds like some sort of like stone you would find in male gonads or something, where the testosterone is produced. If I can be as disgusting as possible, but these are, I guess, just regular old plantain chips. They're not some fancy thing. Why do they call them? They call them Tostones as though that's what plantain chips are called, but not that I'm aware of. Is that like tostones or something? I don't know. I know a little bit of Spanish, and I've never heard of anything of the sort, but I'm no expert. So yeah, these are just plantain chips. They had kind of regular flavor, and then they had these, which are garlic flavor. And very simple ingredients. It's plantains, the oil they fry them in, sea salt, and garlic. So, be interested to try those. I have to say I haven't had plantain chips in a minute, but I certainly have had plantain chips over the years, and generally I enjoy them. I've always had them plain, never any kind of flavoring, so that'll be interesting. I did just get the garlic kind and not the plain kind. So next up, we've got something a little sweet. And by the way, all of these things were, $1.25, which is the base price of things at the Dollar Tree. It used to be $1, but something like, I think around the pandemic, like 2019, 2020, they increased the price of everything to $1.25, which is kind of, crazy when you think about it. It's like a 25% increase on everything, but still only a quarter. And still, a lot of pretty cheap stuff at $1.25. So, can't complain. I'm actually kind of shocked that they haven't raised prices again with the tariff stuff going on, because like virtually everything in there is, from China. So they got to be paying substantially more for all their stuff, compared to before the tariff. So I don't know. I will be shocked if they don't increase prices, and I think, frankly, until they do increase prices, their stuff is going to be a real nice deal, because all the other cheap kind of Chinese manufactured crap of the world, it is going up in price. You know, places like Walmart and Target. Okay, so, oh, it's funny, none of this food stuff probably is made in China, so kind of irrelevant, but connected to the Dollar Tree sitch. We've got kettle cooked coconut cashews. And I have had various, actually one time at Trader Joe's, I got some really nice, like, cashews that were, like, coated in, like, a coconut kind of flavor. Actually, yeah, kind of similar to what I see here, although I feel like this just is the coconut, you know, and not much else. Maybe some glazed sugar on there, but the ones I got from Trader Joe's that one time, which maybe they still have, I don't know, there was more of like kind of a soft, almost like a frosting thing over the cashews, and it was very good. If these are anything close, I will like them. I like cashews, and I love coconut, so I'm looking forward to these. If I like these a lot, it could be a problem, because, you know, I might get a bag every time I go there, and it looks like there's 470 calories per bag, which isn't like too insane. Honestly, you could probably just eat this instead of a meal, and it would be fairly healthy. 8 grams of protein in that 470 calories, not a lot, but fair bit of sugar, 25 grams. And let's see, not too much sodium, which maybe means I'm not going to like these, because I really like saltiness with my sweet kind of treats like this. And let's see, a little bunch of saturated fat. I'm guessing these are roasted in something, peanut cottonseed, sunflower, and canola oil, rice bran oil. So, okay, maybe not hydrogenated. I don't know. But in any event, 35 grams of fat is quite a bit. So we'll see what those taste like. Kind of got like a tropical theme going here with the cashews, native to a lot of tropical areas, and the plantains, which are also native to a lot of tropical areas. All right, these are kind of boring, I think. But actually, okay. I just saw the peanuts here, and I thought it was just gonna be kind of a boring peanut flavor, but these do sound kind of interesting. I think, oh no, I have a couple things in here that are potentially a little bit spicy. But these are the Flamin' Jalapeno Inferno peanuts. I don't think I saw the Inferno when I bought these, or I might not have bought them. It does say medium though, and not like hot, so that suggests that hopefully these are not super hot. Now, I am a real weakling when it comes to spicy stuff. I do enjoy a little bit of spice, you know, with some Asian food or something. I don't really like spice in like Mexican food, but Asian food, it sometimes feels okay to me, and yeah, I don't know whether situations I have spicy food, but I do occasionally enjoy a little bit of spice. But yeah, anything more than, you know, just a little bit of spice, and I find it kind of you know, undesirable and not very enjoyable. So we'll see where these head. And you know, I live in the Midwest. I was born in North Dakota, folks. So even though I am you know, Hispanic, half Hispanic, I am not one of these spice-loving folks that are more and more common, it seems, these days, with all the crazy spicy things you got in the world. Alright, but speaking of spice, we have more peanuts. These are roasted red chili rojo. Oh, I guess that's just the Spanish version. Roasted red chili. And then, gotta go down here to figure out what it is, which is peanuts, right? Japanese-style air-fried peanuts. Okay, so these are air-fried, which is interesting. I suspect there's still oil in them, but they're maybe a little bit healthier than how, you know, normal peanuts are roasted. I don't know. cane sugar, salt, protein, seasoning, and then like some coloring. So interestingly, there's no added oil. It seems to this, so I guess these are a bit healthier. Like, I want to see compared to the jalapeno ones, which definitely have oil. So this is 1 ounce, the jalapeno ones, and it's 170 calories. This is how many ounces in it? Oh, it's grams. So let's see. Serving size is 32 grams. Serving size here is 28 grams. So the serving size is quite a bit bigger, maybe 15% bigger over here, but it's actually fewer calories. So for those looking for a lower calorie, kind of lower fat, not that these are low fat, they still have quite a bit. But if you're looking for something a little bit healthier on the macros compared to those jalapeno peanuts, or probably any like sort of Planters peanuts or standard roasted peanuts, these are a little bit better in that regard. Once again, we'll have to figure out how spicy these are. That's going to be the big question. I noticed there's like 4.5 servings per bag. So if you eat this whole bag, it would be a lot of calories. It'd be like 700 some calories, but it would be like over 30 grams of protein. So Makana, I don't know. Alright, so these will be interesting. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times with kind of spicy stuff, especially if it's like sort of Japanese, or I don't know, if it's like sort of chili themed, it seems like they seem to like to put like vinegary kinds of things in there, like maybe a chili oil or something that has vinegar in it, and I really dislike vinegar. Too acidic for me, so I don't think there was vinegar in those, so I might like them if it's just kind of salt and then a little bit of spiciness. I could dig that, but we'll see. Alright, next up, folks, we got a blast from the past, because I don't think I've eaten a fruit roll-up in probably 30 years or something like that. When I saw these, I kind of thought, wow, I guess fruit roll-ups still exist. And then I was at like Target or something after this, and I saw the fruit roll-ups there, so I was like, oh, okay, I guess they just have existed probably this whole time, and I haven't paid attention, but this felt like a throwback to me, because, when I was a kid, growing up in the 80s, fruit roll-ups were, very popular, very cutting-edge technology at some point, too. And I didn't really like the roll-ups too much. I liked some of the other fruit snacks they had at that time. And there weren't that many. There was like maybe 3 different kinds of fruit snacks. But fruit roll-ups were my least favorite. But I don't know. I got these to kind of do a little throwback and see how these things strike me. I'm a little worried these are going to taste like plastic. The ingredients are, the first thing is corn syrup, and then sugar. Like, what the fuzz? And then you got some pear puree, but then maltodextrin, which I think is another sweetener, then some oil, and then some small items. Let's see, is there any flavor in here? Yeah, natural flavor, fruit pectin, and then some color. So this is like super unhealthy because it's mostly sugar and like chemicals, which explains why I would not have like seen these, even though I'm feeding to young children for the last X number of years. I would not give this willingly to them, but I would eat them for a video for all you people. All right, so there's strawberry blast flavor. Strawberry flavor, definitely my preference. And then I got tropical tie-dye, just for a little even less healthy, chemical-y nonsense. So that's what we got for today. Let's get up in these and see what we go. It's funny, when I was a kid, I feel like these things had like little strawberry seeds in them, because there's actually strawberries in them. However, these don't even have strawberries as an ingredient, which is kind of shocking. It's just, pear puree. And then, flavorings, which I guess could be strawberry flavorings, but I don't know, I would have expected to see some strawberries in there back in the old days. So we'll maybe save those sweet items for last, and I'll include the cashews in that group, kind of for dessert. And let's try these red peanuts first. And see what we get. I do have a little bit of water here to cleanse the palate here. Maybe we'll do like 5 of these. Okay, here we go. Wow. That is a wacky experience. It's almost like a shell, like it's hollow a bit on the inside. Like the dry roasting kind of does something wacky to the composition of the peanut. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't think it actually is hollow. It's just like much crunchier on the outside. So it kind of feels like when you get through that crunchy layer, there's nothing in there, but there actually is kind of just a softer peanut in there. Okay, I did hit the cough button there, but I was going to take one of these big ones and yeah. So you see how kind of around the edge there's a kind of like a coating. I actually think that's not part of the peanut now that I see it. So I noticed wheat flour on the ingredients there. I wonder if that's creating the flour and the sugar and the salt and whatever. It's creating like a little layer of coating around it that turns crispy when they cook these. Alright, well, so the texture is a little wacky. I had to get used to that, but I could get used to that for sure. The flavor, I think, is very nice. It's kind of like a traditional, like how peanuts have sort of a, like Planters peanuts, or like Fisher peanuts. They have a flavoring that's got a little bit of like a paprika. It's kind of orangish, and then probably some onion or some garlic and some salt and stuff in there. So it's got that kind of traditional roasted peanut, flavor. And then just kind of a little bit of a spicy kick to it, but honestly not spicy really, in the sense that it, I don't know, makes your tongue tingle or anything like that. It's a very mild spice. I think most people could handle that very easily, and I found it quite enjoyable. I will look forward to finishing those. So alright, I'm gonna do maybe the non-spicy thing next, just so I have kind of a fresher palate to judge the spice level with. But we're gonna get into these fried plantain chips, garlic flavored, from Rooted Harvest. Next. To make a big old mess here. first one was very representative. All right, here's the scoop. I thought these were very good, and I was really shocked by the texture of these, because every other plantain chip I've had before is very different. They cut them a bit thick, and they tend to be, really kind of thick, and therefore like they take a lot of like biting force to to chew, and it's just extremely like crunchy in the sense of you have to really chew to break through it. That's like every plantain chip I've ever had is like that. These, on the other hand, almost seem like some kind of like potato chip, which, potato chips are generally much more like light and crispy, like delicate crispy, than plantain chips. And these are sort of kind of somewhere in between, these traditional plantain chips and potato chips, and it's very nice. It's very nice. If you have had plantain chips before and you didn't really like how kind of like hard they were, but you sort of like the flavor, I don't know, the health benefits of plantain, whatever they may be, you're gonna want to try these out because they're unlike any plantain chip I've ever had. But it must be in how they cook these really that makes that difference. But very nice texture, very light and flaky, and yeah, good flavor. The garlic here is quite subtle. I don't have like this kind of strong garlicky taste. After eating it, just kind of it's there when you're chewing and kind of goes away. It almost seems like what they did is they mashed these things, like pressed them somehow, because they look sort of like smashed out and then fried. And they're not, none of these are circular, which is what they would be if you just cut them and fried them. So I think they sort of, have some technique for sort of smashing the plantain, pieces into a flatter shape before they fry them, and then it leads to this very different texture. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. And as I sort of concentrate on it now, the garlic flavor is very subtle in these. So, it's almost like if I didn't tell you it was garlic flavor, I'm not sure you would guess that. So if you're put off by garlic flavor, but you like a little bit of something different than just salt, go ahead and get that garlic. Otherwise, get the plain ones. Sea salt or whatever they call it. Alright, so, wow, I like that one. Yeah, thumbs up on that. I mean, I'm not super into like fried things, so, like potato chips and such. So I'm not sure I would buy those on any kind of regular basis, but if I ever was looking for something fried and I didn't just want like boring potato chips, I would definitely look to those. Very nice. So next up we have the Flamin' Jalapeno Inferno Peanuts, spicy and savory, from Star Snacks. Once again, I don't know, it says Inferno, so that's making me think it's kind of spicy, but it does say medium, which is generally probably pretty not spicy. So let's check these out. They look just like regular peanuts. Okay, I see. Yeah, okay. Alright, so compared to those Japanese ones, these seem kind of boring texture-wise. It's, it's not very crispy. It's just sort of a soft, lightly roasted peanut. Kind of boring from that aspect. Let's talk about the flavor. The flavor, I also find kind of underwhelming. It is a little bit spicy. A little bit of tingles on the tongue. Definitely more spicy than those Japanese peanuts. But nothing too crazy. And again, I'm a low tolerance spice eater, so you know, I could handle quite a bit more spice than this and be fine. But I don't know if I was going to eat a lot of these. The spice would maybe add up and I wouldn't really like it that much, but honestly, I'm not super tempted to eat these. I'm going to try one more batch here. Make sure I'm giving these a thorough kind of write up. Do maybe a couple more in this one than before. Yeah, I don't know the flavor of these. I'm not sure what it is. But the flavor is just not very appealing to me. Jalapeno peppers, onion, garlic. Yeah. Smoke flavor. I think I'm picking up a little bit of that. To clear my throat there, but yeah, not a fan of those. I mean, whatever, they're okay in a pinch if you need some peanuts, and they don't have like the regular flavor peanuts ones, or peanuts, or you don't like those regular flavor ones. I don't know, maybe they're a little bit more interesting if you like a little spice. But yeah, I wouldn't buy those again. So I would say thumbs down on the. I guess we're just doing thumbs up, thumbs down here. Plantain chips, definitely thumbs up. Japanese peanuts, thumbs up. Jalapeno peanuts, thumbs down. Okay, let's get into the sweet stuff now. We'll start with these coconut cashews. Pretty excited about these, but I can see them easily letting me down, so. Well, this kind of thing is sort of exciting. Looks like a big old cluster of like flavory type stuff wrapped around two cashews, as opposed to like the single cashews. I feel like this one's gonna be extra flavorful, so I think I am gonna start with that one. Definitely smells like, you know, delicious coconutty sweetness. Oh wow. Okay. Oh man. Folks, these are absolutely delicious. Wow. Delightful, delightful. So they have exactly the kind of flavor I'm looking for, and they have a little bit of that kind of like, you know, softer sort of coating. Not quite like those Trader Joe's ones I was mentioning, but, you know, kind of halfway there. So it's definitely not just, you know, coconut sprinkled on a nut and that's it. There's definitely some nice kind of sugary sort of frosting type coating. I don't want to say frosting because it's very subtle, but it is substantial. Oh, these are made in Vietnam. So, tariffs, right? Yeah. So what really strikes me is that these have such a nice, kind of like just salty enough sort of flavor to them that it really accents the coconut flavor, and it's just a delicious, I love the taste of coconut, but if you don't have, you know, a little bit of saltiness in there, it's not nearly as delightful as it could be. This really reminds me, when I was a kid, Little Debbie made a product that was like, it was like those peanut butter wafers, you know, like they come in sticks, and they have this, it's a wafer cookie, you know, with layers of peanut butter, and it's got a light coating of chocolate. I can't remember what they call those. But they still them, and they're very popular, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't you lie. But so those are you know what everybody sort of is familiar with. But when I was a kid, like in the 80s and the 90s, they had a product that was like that, except it was coconut flavored, and it had like a white frosting coating over it, but it was the same kind of like wafer type cookie. And man, did I love those things. I don't know when they stopped making those, or if they've made them recently and they're like a, you know, kind of temporary thing or what, but oh, I love those things. And you know, as a kid, you don't really, especially when I grew up, you don't really run into a lot of coconut flavored stuff. We also had those little Neapolitan chewy candies made from coconut. It had like, you know, a brown layer, a pink layer, and a white layer, and they were like a nickel or something at the store, and they were just coconut with, you know, like probably corn syrup, and then the food coloring. Those things I loved when I was a kid. There's a company called Brach's, B-R-A-C-H, and at least in the Midwest, they had these like little stations around every grocery store where it was like bulk candy. So they have these, you know, stations, and they have bins of different candies made by Brach's, you know, like hard candies and these coconut things, and they were like individually wrapped, like chocolates with creamy centers, that kind of stuff. So they had those everywhere, and you could buy, you know, one candy, and they had a little box. This is real memory lane stuff. They had a little like money box, a little metal locked box with a little coin slot on it, so you could buy, you know, just one or two if you wanted to. And I would get those candies pretty regularly. Those coconut ones were the ones I always got. So other than that, you know, these little Debbie wafer things I'm talking about were the only other like coconut I was ever exposed to. But I just loved I love those two things, and those were the only two coconut things I was ever kind of exposed to as a, you know, younger kid. So this really reminds me of those two things. I've had coconut stuff over the years, and I certainly have had, like, you know, coconut macarons and you know, very coconut heavy types of pastries and stuff like that. And honestly, they're often not terribly exciting to me because I don't think they get the saltiness that you need for coconut to be good, which I also think you need to be present in like peanut butter candy, like peanut butter cups. Anyways, we don't need to do candy theory, but really love those coconut cashews, guys. I will definitely be buying those again, and I will give them 2 thumbs up. Bam. Wow. Fantastic. Gotta clear my throat here. Okay. All right. Last up, I'm sort of, you know, pessimistic about these because of the ingredient quality. Also, I'm just sort of suspicious about anything that's been around this long because I feel like, well, it is still General Mills that's making it. So I was gonna say it could be one of those brands like Twinkies, where, you know, like it went out of business and some hedge fund bought it, and then they, you know, sprinkled like, you know, like excess chemicals from the petroleum industry in there or something to get stuff off their balance sheet and, you know, turn it into a completely different product, which I think is what happens a lot of times with some of these snacks that have been around, you know, since the 80s. But we will see. So yeah, they come in these little long kind of wrappers, and then they're always on these plastic, you know, sheets. And then you unroll it, and you've got plastic sheet on one side and fruit roll up on the other. For those of you who've never had it, the color here is like just crazy, artificial looking, and the smell is like, you know, it's like strawberry candy smell, which is not what strawberries smell like. So already I'm pretty much counting on this sucking. I mean, this is really just like a very artificial candy type product to me. aggressive. And it doesn't, it's kind of sticking to itself here, which is not great. There we go. Sometimes when I was a kid, I would, unroll these things and then just take the, take the fruit roll-up off and then just like make it to a big ball, eat the whole friggin' thing in one bite, because it's really not that much stuff. But I will not be doing that here for this video. It'd probably take like 3 hours to get it off my teeth. Alright, so, yeah, very sticky. Okay. I'm afraid to bite into it, because I know it's just gonna like embed itself into my dental structure. So I'm kind of just like sucking it on it like a hard candy. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not like offensive flavor-wise, and texture-wise, it is what it is. It's probably the same texture roughly as Fruit Loops have always been, but it just seems a little too artificial for me to enjoy. I would say it doesn't taste like chemically or anything like that, but it just tastes like candy and not, like dehydrated strawberries or anything natural. So I don't think I'm not gonna bother with this one. This video is right too long, but I assume it's probably as bad or worse than the strawberry one. Alright, fine, I'll do it. I'm just like, what if it's like the most amazing thing? I didn't do it. I think it's just, I'm gonna probably just take a little bite. Finally got the strawberry one done and swallowed. I mean, it certainly looks kind of neat with the rainbow, but many things look neat that I do not want to eat. I'm a poet. So, alright, I got a smell here. Smells a little bit like orange, like citrusy. Alright, I'm gonna take a bite. Yeah, it is a little more like sort of like tropical orange lemon type flavor. Still just, it tastes like a candy. Starburst or something. Which, if you're in the mood for candy, God bless. It's probably a little healthier than candy because it's got, some fruit puree in it, but not the ones that we want. So, yeah, not any better than the strawberry. I think the strawberry one I like a little bit better, but I'll give the 1 thumbs down to the fruit roll-ups and say, whatever, if you want some candy and you like fruit roll-ups, God bless, go ahead. But if you're looking for sort of a more true fruit type snack, there's probably better out there. I don't know at the Dollar Tree there's better out there, but certainly in the grocery store there is. Alright, that's what we got for today. Hope you guys find some delicious snacks out in the world, perhaps at Dollar Tree. Until the next time, we will see you then, and thanks for watching. Alright, bye now.